Hey, what's up, fellas? How we doing? Man, Antonelli here. Today we're talking about stances. What is better, a closed stance or an open stance? I get this question all the time. Before we get into it, today's video is sponsored by Rocket Sports. They make top quality baseball equipment. We use a lot of their products with our Antonelli baseball teams. We've had a lot of success with it. So definitely check them out. Go to rocket.com. Also check out the description link below. If you guys click on that, you guys will receive 15% off your order at Rocket Sports, so definitely check that out. Okay, so let's get into stances, right? Closed stance, open stance, even stance. I get this question a ton from players. What's the best one, right? And there's certain people that are they feel like you've got to be one way or the other. Okay, for example, when I played with the Padres, I had a little bit of an open stance. I always kind of had an open stance. In college, I was actually a little bit more open. You know, I was somewhere around here. And then, you know, when I got to the Padres, I was still I was slightly open. And, you know, we had a hitting coach that was totally against open stances. Said you've got to close off. You've got to be slightly closed, or else you'll never be able to stay on the ball. You'll never be able to hit the outside pitch. Okay. I've had other coaches that have said the other thing. So, you know, guys that are a little bit closed will say, you know, you're gonna block yourself off. You've got to even off, right? Or, you know, maybe you want to be a little bit open. Well, not maybe you want to. A lot of people say you got to be open a little bit, and then there's other people that say you got to have your feet straight, right? So depending on who you talk to, there's a lot of coaches that are set in one way. And if you look at the history of the game, right? So like typically, back let's go like 30 years ago, there was a lot more guys, in my opinion, back then that were kind of closed off, right? Then if you look back about 10 years ago to the present, you'll see a lot more guys open. So it fluctuates throughout the history of baseball, and I'm sure in another 10, 20 years, guys will be doing something totally different, right? But it's not everyone. That's the thing, okay? It's important to realize is that some guys will be open, some guys will be even, some guys will be closed, okay? And I have never said to somebody, you have to stand this way, okay? For me, the stance is personal preference, unless you're in a position where it's inhibiting you from getting to a strong launch position, balanced. If that's the case, then we have to change up your stance, okay? So I don't tell guys you got to start open, you got to start even, you got to start closed. That's the first thing. Now, if you are, let's talk about the important things with all of those stances, okay? I would say yes, if you're a even stance guy, you know, all you really have to think about is moving forward, okay? So that may seem really simple and easier. If you're struggling, if your guy's got an open stance and you're either bailing out here or you're diving in too much, maybe an even stance is right for you. But it's not, I'm not saying that that's the fix that everyone should take, okay? Just sometimes it makes it maybe a little bit easier. So let's talk about an open stance, okay? For me, if you're an open stance guy, again, perfectly fine, but you have to make sure on your stride that you're moving yourself back towards the pitcher. That's the most important thing with all strides, is that whether you're open or closed, whatever you are, you have to make sure that you're moving back to the pitcher. Momentum is going this way, okay? So if I'm open and I move, and my first move is to stay open and get up here and not have good posture, well then yeah, I'm gonna have a really difficult time hitting the ball away. I'm not staying over the ball, okay? So if you're open, doesn't mean not every open guy is gonna do that. People think sometimes, oh, if you're open, you're gonna stride open and you're gonna pull off the ball and you're not gonna hit the ball away. It's not the case. There's a lot of guys that are open, they stride a little bit open, but they're moving back towards the pitcher and they've got good posture over the plate still, and I can still drive any ball away, okay? Just as easily if I'm even, all right? So again, just make sure that I'm moving this way and I'm staying over the plate. There's young kids that go like this. Yeah, that's an issue. I'm way out of posture, and I obviously I can't hit anything over here, right? So that's a guy, yeah, he can start open still, but he's got to move straight, okay? Same thing with diving in. So some guys are open, right? So guys get open like this, and now when they move, they feel like they've got to get back to even, and then they end up diving into the plate here. So now they're taking their momentum into the plate. And that can be really difficult because now you're limiting your ability typically to hit an inside pitch, right? So if I'm open and I dive in and my momentum goes in over the plate, now I can't get back in here to hit a ball in, okay? So again, if I'm open, I've got to move straight. I can't dive in. Now a closed stance guy, you got to make sure the same exact issues. So if I'm closed, okay, I'm closed, I can stride straight, stay a little bit closed, but my momentum is going this way and I can still hit the entire plate, okay? But I got to make sure if I'm a closed stance guy that I'm not picking up and diving further in, okay? Because then I'm having the same issues. I can't be a closed stance guy, and this typically doesn't happen. I see this very rarely, I'd say, where a guy goes from closed to open. I usually don't see that. Usually I'll see closed to more closed, right? Momentum falling into the plate, and now I get jammed on everything middle in. I can't get out of my own way, right? So really important, it's not so much how you set up, right? Closed, open, even. It's all about what I do from there. And if I'm doing something that's putting me in a bad spot, I'm diving in, I'm pulling off, I'm flying open, I'm not staying over the plate, I'm not striding straight, then you've got to change it up. And the change typically is, again, two changes. One, you really focus on making the move, right? So again, I had an open stance and I would just practice making a move back to the pitcher every time, okay? That's the first thing, staying over the plate, boom, making my move. Or, you know, if you're something crazy, you're way out here and you're having trouble, well, then you can move your foot in and go to even or go close to even. It makes it a little bit easier to move back to the pitcher. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. It's not, if there was one special way to do it, everybody would do it, right? If open stance was the answer, everyone in the big leagues would hit with an open stance, but they don't. Some guys are open, some guys are even, there's some guys that are closed, right? Like Giancarlo Stanton went closed stance. He started hitting a ton of home runs. Oh, he always hit home runs, but he went on fire. And then everyone was like, closed stance is the answer. You got to be closed. If closed stance was the answer, everyone would be closed. There's tons. I see tons of guys with closed stances that can't hit. Right? So it's not so much the stance. It's what you do from that stance and what's the position that you get in to launch the bat. It's got to be the right position. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel. If you've not done so already, give us a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. Share the video with all your friends. Check out our Instagram, Antonelli Baseball, our Twitter feed, Antonelli9. We got videos going up all the time for you guys, and that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Good luck to you, and we'll talk to you later.